Okay, so today is Friday, January 16th. Um I took a trade on ES. I took a short. So coming into the market open, I had a short bias because of a few things. Let me mark out where market opened. Market opened right here, and then we had this breakout to the sell side. Um, Coming into market open, we made Asian session highs up here. We had Asian session low. We had an hourly low over there, and this is on ES. Um, we established that high, and then we had these hourly highs up here, and then we had this hourly high. So yeah, and if I go on the 5 minute, right, and this is something I do to determine my bias. Something that I do look at is how far take profits draws on liquidity would be. So we opened right here. So up to this high is 26 points. Up to this other hourly high would be 51 points. Okay, and then we had London session low, Asian session low, and then this hourly low, and this was 35 points, so it's closer, right? And then we had a lot of this price imbalance after this low, right? So I wasn't paying attention to this, but that's way too far away for us to get. But yeah, so we were closer to the session lows, but also I did see a SMT with London high and market open high. Let me, there we go. So that's the high, and we had an SMT with this London session high, this high, the 630 high, and market open high. Looking at NASDAQ, you'll see we took out London session high, right? And that 630 high, like we had a bearish SMT coming into market open. And the take profits, the draws on liquidity was a little different, right? So we had these hourly highs up here. I really wasn't paying attention to these highs. And then after this low, there wasn't anything I was looking at. And going down on the 5 minute, you can see market opened right here at 9:30, and we were 35 points away from these highs and 70 points away from these lows, right? Let me move. Actually, no, we can keep that there. So looking at this, on ES, we were really far away from these lows, closer to these highs. I mean, NASDAQ. And on ES, we were closer to these lows and farther away from these highs. So it's like, okay, what do I do? Well, I noticed we had this high time frame SMT, so I liked that. And because price opened close to London session low, that means we're likely going to take that out to complete the SMT. Because to complete this high time frame SMT, we could either come down here to this London session low or come up here, right? Technically, we were a little bit closer to this London session high, but you'll see as the first 10 minutes in market went by to 9:40, we broke 5 minute structure right here, right? And that was my 5 minute confirmation for a sell side position, right? So now, in the first 10 minutes of market open, we're 5 points away from this London session low, right? And if we want to complete this SMT, it makes sense that we're going to take out this low instead of the high, right? So I was like, awesome. If we're going to come down here to complete the SMT, chances are we're going to want to come down to the Asian session low and also this hourly low. So I'm like, in the first 10 minutes, my bias was established for a short. I had the 5-minute confirmation. Looking at the 1 hour, we broke 1 hourly structure at 9 o'clock, right? So this was really good. I was feeling bearish, and this was the leading index for the short because ES failed to take out these highs, right? And then looking at NASDAQ, we were the lagging index for a short. And also, we were much farther away from these lows, so I really wasn't looking for a short, even though we broke 5-minute structure at the same time we did on ES. Because ES was closer to the lows and the leading index for the short, I was looking for a trade on ES. You could have taken a short on NASDAQ if you wanted to, but the thing is, and I'll get to it in a moment, is I didn't really like the retrace, the 5-minute retrace we had on NASDAQ, right? So even if I was wanting to take a trade on NASDAQ, I likely wouldn't have because that retrace wasn't really good. It created a doji candle, right, where it's just the wicks and no body. So looking at ES, and I'll show you why I like the retrace on here better, is from this high to the low we made, right, at 940 we broke structure. This candle, the 945 candle, we hit equilibrium, right? And from there, I was looking for a 1-minute confirmation, and I got that in the form of a 1-minute inverse fair value gap. Because we were so close to these lows, the London session low, I really was not looking for a buy side opportunity, and also the buy side positions I didn't think were very good, right? So we were bearish on the 1 hour, so I'm like, definitely I want to take a short. So when I saw the inverse of this 1-minute gap at the 949 candle, that's when I entered in my short, right? So my entry was right here. I have my stop right here at this candle. I was thinking about having my stop loss at this candle, but that gives me 7 points, and that gives me a 4.16 risk reward ratio, which is really good. But I'm like, you know what? It's 7 points. I don't want to get stopped out. So I'm like, let me move it up. That's not going to hurt me if I do, right? I still get an awesome solid risk reward ratio, a 1 to 3.34 risk reward ratio. And yeah, as you can see on the 1 minute, it was awesome. It teased me this morning. It was teasing, okay? It was teasing me. Right? We got really close to hitting take profit, and then it goes back up, and then it goes back down. It was teasing me. It goes back up again, and I'm like, oh man. I was like really like scared. I wasn't super confident. I was a little worried. And then finally we come back down and we hit take profit. So, yeah. I had to turn off my computer. Like, when I saw this retrace, I was like, F it, dude. I'm going to turn off my computer. I'll come back and look at the trade and see what happens. Because I was stressing, right? I was nervous. I'm like, I'm not trying to, procrastinate other things I got to do to watch the trade, right? But it was a W, thankfully, right? It could have been stopped out, but it was good. But looking at NASDAQ, this was the leading index, the lagging index, right, because of the SMTs, the highs. And we were also much farther away from these lows, right? And these were the same lows on ES, by the way. They're not different. They're the same ones. But the reason why I wouldn't have taken it on here, on top of the reasons of the lagging index and the distance we were from the take profits, was because the retrace wasn't really good. Like, this created a doji candle retrace, barely hit equilibrium. I don't really like doji candles all that much. And also, when you look at the 1 minute, it never broke structure, 1 minute structure to the upside. We didn't fill in a gap. Like, we filled in like this small little gap right here. It's really nothing I like. I'm like, I'm not going to take a trade on NASDAQ. If you did, you would have made some money, right? But this is the other thing I was scared about, and this is something that you should probably know. I was skeptical of the short on Nasdaq because I'm like, okay, if you look at ES, we're really close to these lows. ES could take out this low, and Nasdaq might be caught in the middle of the trend, so maybe like right here, right? And I was thinking if Nasdaq takes out this low, right, and we're trading on the lagging index, we could create another SMT, and it would be a bullish SMT, and it could reverse on me, right? So I don't want to risk that. So that's why I want to trade on the leading index, right? That's why it was more risky to trade on Nasdaq. I get confused. But yeah. Something else I saw during the trade was right here at 10:19, right? 10:19. We get really close to the take profit and then we go back up. If you look at Nasdaq at 10:19, we hit we hit that exact low, right? We hit that low at 10:19 and then we started reversing. So it created a high time frame bullish SMT just for a little bit. Just for a little bit. And I was scared that maybe I would be stopped out because of this. I'm like, there's no freaking way because we're so close to that low. Why would we create a bullish SMT? But I was worried about that because at 10:19, Nasdaq takes out that low and ES doesn't, and it starts going back up. And I'm like, oh crap. I was a little scared, but we did end up coming back down, right? So that's good. The other thing about that SMT is if we did create an SMT, so we make a low right here and we don't take out this one, to complete this bullish SMT, theoretical bullish SMT, we would have had to come all the way back up here to the London session high. And I just did not see how that was going to happen, right? So that's the trade I took today. I took a short. 5-minute Baker structure to the downside by 940, right? So, I'm not looking for longs. I'm not going to take a long when we're bearish on the 5-minute, right? Unless we have like a bullish 5-minute SMT. But then this high time frame bearish SMT overrides that, right? And the longs, the long opportunities were not really great. I think on ES it looked pretty good. Like this was a good high, that was a good high. And this is a good high too, only 25 points away, but you have to understand, in the first 10 minutes, we come all the way down here, we're close to completing this bearish SMT by taking out this low, so chances are at 940, we're probably going to end up taking out London session low, and if we go down to London session low, we're probably going to take out Asian session and take out this low as well, right? And that's what we did. So that was my logic behind the trade today. Yeah, I took a few other trades this week. I'm not going to do trade recaps for them because I'm just not. But yeah, next week from now on, if I do take trades, I'm going to do trade recaps for them. But that was my strategy for the day. And also, if you look at Nasdaq, the draws on liquidity on the buy side really are not that good, right? The hourly highs are not that great. You have this high and this one. They're not great, and these highs, they were too far away, right? I just didn't really like the buy side market, so I just wasn't feeling it. And also this SMT. I really like SMTs. I think SMTs are awesome. I use SMTs a lot in my trades, not all the times, but they're pretty good. But that was the trade I took. That was the logic behind it. Yeah, and I'll do a trade recap next week if I take a trade, right? I'm not gonna do them if I don't take a trade because it's not a trade recap. But yeah, see you guys in the next one.